It's time for another round of 3 questions where you get 3 answers. Good deal? I thought so. And we start with the man, the myth, the legend, the Code 92. If they make another Star Trek movie, they are likely to, but still set in the same alternate timeline as the previous films, would you like them to see them focus on younger versions of the characters for the next generation? Oh, heck yes! Patrick Stewart, who went to play Captain Jean-Luc Picard, is my favourite Starfleet captain, mainly because, one, it's Patrick Stewart, so that's rated awesome already, and mainly because with Jean-Luc, he's somewhat rough around the edges to begin with, in the sense of his no-nonsense approach, but as you begin to peel the layers back, you begin to see the wisdom and reasoning behind the first major Starfleet TV captain since the likes of Kirk. Now, when Star Trek Next Generation debuted, I think it was 87, 88, it had almost been 20 years since the likes of Kirk and Spock had been on TV, you know, when they first launched Star Trek. So, and at that time, special and visual effect. This is a little thing that a lot of people confuse with. CG is not a special effect, it's a visual effect. Special effect is anything that's practical, like an explosion, an off-camera trick, or a miniature. Visual is anything that's done in post-production. And if you don't believe me, you can ask most CG artists. They're like, no, it's a visual effect. Come on now. But yeah. By that time in the 80s, visual effects had really progressed since the original Star Trek, and Next Generation just had this much more sophisticated and elegant feel to it. Not that there's anything wrong with the original Star Trek, it was a huge pioneering thing for its time. But by that point in the 80s, you know, things had just progressed to such a point where you thought, oh, well, that looks good. I would definitely like to see a younger version of Picard, Riker, Geordi, most definitely Counselor Troy. Yeah, just most of the characters. It'd be interesting to see Data, you know, just constructed, you know? That'd be intriguing to see. We have a question from Edward Tophat. Favorite 2015 pod vehicle? Well, there's actually 2, because obviously we have to include Thunderbird 4 as a pod vehicle, despite being its own Thunderbird. So, Thunderbird 4 and the Mole, because it's the Mole. You know, need I go on? I mean, that version I'm struggling to remember the name now. The episode where they go to the uranium mine in South Africa, it'll come to me in a bit. I'm sorry, I've been so busy lately, you know, you tend to forget certain episodes. But in that episode, it was just badass, and the way, you know, with the reveal where Virgil has put it together in the pod assembly factory, and you just see Thunderbird 2 rise up on its legs for the first time in the season, and it's just like, that was a beautiful visual moment. Cross tunnels? I think so, yeah. Hope that answers your question. Favorite show from your childhood is the third question from Edward Tophat again. That's a real interesting question. See, I had so many growing up in the 80s and 90s. If I had to nail it down to 3, I had to nail it down to 3 specifically. The original Thunderbirds, because obviously those who were young enough to remember in 91 was when they actually began showing reruns of the original Thunderbirds for the first time on British TV, first time on BBC Two as well. Batman the Animated Series, because it's Batman and Kevin Conroy is badass as Batman. And third, but not least, Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday Morning, or Sat AM. Mainly because stories were well written, brilliant casting, amazing soundtrack, and you had Jaleel White as Sonic knocking it out of the park with a home run every single time, and Kathy Sose as Sally Acorn, who, in my opinion alone, best female interest Sonic has ever had. Now, there are those that will say Amy's better, or Fiona Fox is better, or Breezy's better. Hey, if that works for you, great. But to me, Sally was a much more decent developed character. Never dug Amy in the games. I found her to be actually entertaining and likable in the Fleetway Sonic the comic. But it's only up until with Sonic Boom she stopped becoming the stalking fangirl character, and they actually made her a character that would actually confront Sonic on a lot of things. And I actually dig that, and Cindy Robinson, she just nails it. So those have been your 3 questions for this week. You know how the shtick works by now. If you want to leave a question, do so in the comment section below. If this is on DYNAMICKNIGHT.com, my Facebook page, over on River City Gamers. I'll even do that twice. How you doing, guys? Or here on YTub, or send a question to my Twitter link in the outro. But until then, ask again.